What's up, guys? I'm Eric with Republic of the Geek. I'm the Retro Reviewer, and today I'm reviewing Punisher, the 1989 version with Dolph Lundgren, because for some reason I can't get that guy out of my head. The Tom Jane Punisher version, which was in 2004, and the Ray Stevenson version in 2008. Alright guys, so reviewing the three Punisher movies that are current right now. Now currently, actually, they have a Netflix series for the Punisher, who started out in the Daredevil series. Really haven't got to check that out a lot, that's why I'm not reviewing it today. Because I really don't know if Shane from The Walking Dead is going to make a really good Punisher. And of course the 1989 version of Punisher kind of almost ruined that character for me. One of my favorite characters, actually even owned the first appearance of him in comic books. This guy, Dolph Lundgren, oh buddy, you just can't do anybody justice, can you? You screwed up Hercules and then you moved on 2 years later and did Punisher. Why are you really just screwing my childhood up? This movie also had Louis Gossett Jr. in it from the Iron Eagle franchise. He was also in Jaws 3D, that forgetful piece of crap. And he was also in a movie called Enemy Mine. These are three movies that if you really want to check out, go ahead, but you're not missing out on much. They even had 4 Iron Eagle movies, just to give you a basis. And you probably never even heard of them. Probably a good reason why. But anyways, we start off in the 89 Punisher movie. Of course, Frank Castle, the Marvel character that was brought out by Stan Lee, whose first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man 129. A little tidbit of nugget information for you right there, but you didn't know that. Goes through and I mean, Frank Castle, just as a superhero or anti-hero, because he was one of the first, his family kind of meets their demise, and he goes through very angrily, pissed off, and tries to, rectify the situation, because it's not vengeance, it's punishment. And this tagline actually went for an entire generation. They're still using the thing, because, he just goes around just unloading weapons on everybody. But it's not vengeance, it's punishment. If he ever stands in front of a judge at a courthouse and stuff like that, and he's like, it's not vengeance, it's punishment, you're doing like a life sentence, because that just doesn't really work. Anyways, so Dolph Lundgren portrays Punisher, Frank Castle, in the movie. This movie, basically in a roundabout way, I can sum it up for you in just a few seconds, goes through, kills a whole lot of people. Louis Gossett Jr. is the police officer that was friends with Frank Castle when he was sane, and then when his family met the demise, he's just trying to catch up to him so he'll stop having punishment. It's vengeance. Anyways, he goes through, kills a lot of people, and in this movie in '89, I guess they were bereft of ideas on what villain to cast when they could have cast Jigsaw or any of the other Punisher villains from the comic books. No, they just made him fight the Yakuza. Because, I mean, why not? They weren't doing anything, they were just chilling out, and they were like, hey, we're going to send Frank Castle your way, and we're going to put this in the plot line. It's not going to make any sense, and it's going to really irritate comic book fans. So they basically did that, whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of death ensues, whole bunch of empty shells out of guns and everything like that. Credits. The funniest part of the movie, though, when I was watching the movie, I'm sitting here watching it, and all of a sudden, for like 5 to 6 minutes of the movie, Frank Castle's being portrayed by Dolph Lundgren, just running through a sewer butt naked for no reason. Just, I don't know, maybe he was trying to blueprint a plan to take out the Yakuza, and you have to run through a sewer like butt naked just to do that. They really should have just taken that scene out. It should have just been like one dude gets killed, another guy gets killed, another guy gets killed, and credits. That would have been a better movie. Thanks, Hollywood. Moving on to 2004. Now, this movie I have no bad things to say. This starred Thomas Jane and John Travolta. Now, of course, everybody knows who John Travolta is. If you don't know who John Travolta is, you've been living under a rock. He's been in a lot of good movies. A lot of good movies. Some of my favorites, actually. One movie I would like to specify, Face Off with Nick Cage. That's a great movie. And it starred John Travolta as a villain. And a good guy. It was kind of an anti-hero. There you go. That's why they cast him for Punisher in 2004. Anyways, they go through same storyline. Frank Castle loses his family in the scene in the movie where they end up meeting their demise. In this movie, they looked at the '89 Punisher with Dolph Lundgren and they're like, we're not doing that. We're going to take everything off that and just make a whole other thing. The other good thing about this is that Tom Jane actually put money forth to be for the Punisher in 2004 to be made. I'm glad he did, because the movie actually did really, really well. It did really good at the box office, and it's got not really even a cult following, but people really enjoyed it. I know a lot of the people I know actually have this in their movie collections. But anyways, so this movie starts out, John Travolta has his henchman, basically Thomas Jane's character in the movie, goes undercover. One of John Travolta's sons gets killed, and John Travolta wants, vengeance for it. There you go, vengeance again. It's a strong thing in these movies. Tom Jane actually retires from the force, goes to spend family time to catch up with his son that he hasn't been around, or his wife, and actually be the good father figure / great husband. But if anybody knows the Punisher storyline, it doesn't really happen that way for him. He just constantly gets crapped on. They find his family, his entire family. Aunts, uncles, father, mother, everybody. Just takes everybody out. Vengeance. That's the key word of the day. So anyways, Tom Jane goes on a killing spree, killing everybody. Now there's cameos in this movie from other characters in the Marvel Universe that was in Punisher. One being the Russian, who shows up, who was played and portrayed by Kevin Nash, the wrestler / Magic Mike dancer. That's really all I'm going to say about that guy. And a lot of death ensues, a lot of things ensue in the movie as far as action beats, and I mean, it is just a well-rounded, very, very good movie. Side note, if you actually did and actually really like that movie like I did, YouTube actually has almost like a mini movie called Dirty Laundry that Tom Jane actually put the money forth to actually direct and make, because there was a lot of open doors. And it actually is probably about a 13 to 15 minute, maybe longer. I don't know the logistics of it exactly, but it is a really good YouTube video. If you have a chance, check out Dirty Laundry. Tom Jane reprises his role as Punisher, and Ron Perlman makes a cameo in it from playing Hellboy. He's actually in the video as well. Moving on to 2008, Marvel was starting to get some background behind them, and people were really getting psyched for all the new Marvel movies coming out. So what did? They re-establish and put the Punisher in there, but the storyline that they went off of in this movie was Warzone, because there was a couple of comic books. There was Punisher as a standalone comic book, and then you had War Journal, and you had Warzone. So they took the storyline from Warzone and they made and casted Ray Stevenson to play Punisher. This movie had it was one of the most graphic Marvel movies, our Marvel Knight movies, that I've seen in a long time. The first scene being that Ray Stevenson comes into a drug kingpin's house and just completely destroys everybody in the house in a very graphic nature. So I was kind of really wanting to see this movie after that. I actually kind of focused a little bit more on the movie once I saw that scene. They also introduced Jigsaw, finally, in the Marvel Universe as the counterpart to play against Ray Stevenson's Punisher. Lot of death ensues, because that's what Frank Castle does. Vengeance. And basically, in a roundabout way, this movie goes through, kind of opens up the doors for new characters, but Frank Castle is your mainstay. He goes through, he messes things up like he does and is known to do, and that's kind of where 2008 left off. A lot of people didn't like Punisher Warzone. Everybody was kind of like me and really enjoyed the Tom Jane version of Punisher because it was very well done. Warzone, very graphic. If you have some time to watch it, please do, because It is, those two movies, I would guarantee you, are a lot better than the Dolph Lundgren version. And I like Dolph Lundgren, don't get me wrong. Drago was a very good character, and I really don't want to keep emphasizing on that, but I think that was his best character he's ever portrayed, and he was only in maybe 30 minutes of the movie. So, sorry, Dolph. Anyways, if you like the movies that I've reviewed, as far as the trilogy of Punisher movies, and hopefully the Netflix show Punisher will actually spawn another movie that is actually done right, because Marvel really can't do wrong right now. I would actually really like them to do another Punisher movie, and possibly maybe even cast Tom Jane again as Punisher. But if you like the three movies that I've reviewed today, go ahead and check out the Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Don't forget to hit that bell icon and like and subscribe to get all the future notifications from Republic of the Geek. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page and republicofthegeek.com. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Vengeance. Punishment.